Bear with me while I move slowly into the video age. It's not so long ago that I moved into the photographic age. Things move along quickly, so I guess I gotta keep up. I just got back from Ohio. Spent the weekend there, so put about 800 miles on the car over the course of the weekend, so I have a lot more information about what it's like to live with. The good news is there were no breakdowns, no troubles really at all of any kind. But I did get a pretty good list of potential improvements, which is probably the case for any project. So starting at the back, I don't mind yet, at least, that I need this pipe to hold the trunk open. I like the simplicity of not having had to put brackets and hydraulic lifts on. But I don't like the fact that the hatch cover doesn't hinge open, so I can't use the trunk really for anything. So I'm going to redo that and hinge it. I also got a real Scirocco rear seat from Tim Crowley. He was nice enough to gift it. And what that will do is it'll correct this ill-fitting TT seat, which is too tall here and then too narrow over here. Now, I made filler panels, so from inside the car it doesn't look bad, but having a correctly fitting Mark 1 seat will be an improvement, and I'll see about reupholstering it so that the look is similar to the front seats, so there's no obvious mismatch. On the outside of the car, the rear bumper, overall I'm not unhappy with it, but it can be better. I think it could stand to be tucked more. There's a gap here that normally has a piece of trim, but I didn't want to drill into the body, so I just put a piece of plastic to fill it in. But I think it would look better if it was tucked in. And in the heat of the sun, the piece that I added bows because it's riveted and there's no room for expansion. So I think reducing this gap and eliminating the plastic altogether will be an improvement. Now that's not going to be easy because of the way the bumper is mounted. The bumper is bolted to the TT frame rails that I boxed in, but I need a gap between the bumper and the mounting point so that I can get a wrench, socket wrench in there. I think if I pare down the bumper, it'll give me some weight savings and it'll give me a chance to enlarge this gap. So even when the bumper's tucked in further, I'll still be able to get a wrench in there. Structurally, this bumper doesn't do anything, and it's not really going to help in an impact. It's so rigidly mounted that I'll have frame damage no matter what, so I don't think there's any harm in making this more like a European style bumper, which is much lighter. So that's the plan there. Underneath the car, no problems. Everything went fine. No loose fasteners, no rattles, no squeaks. No trouble. Exhaust. I did add one more hanger before I left. I noticed that the exhaust tended to sag no matter how much I clamped it. So I added another hanger there, which works perfectly. So the exhaust stays perfectly straight now. It's been a weekend of abuse. I don't like the chrome door handles. I'm going to work on getting black ones. And while I'm at it, I think I want this VW emblem black also. Other things about the interior. So the dash is a little too boxy in my opinion, and it looks a little DIY, so I'm thinking about making this area a little bit more interesting. Either make this slant a little more shallow and maybe add a seam similar to what Mark 1s have, so this is just less simple. I think visually this is it's too basic looking. But other than that, I didn't have anything that I noticed. The seat Sorry about the poor lighting, but you can see the weird gap that the TT seat leaves. So I'm having a Mark 1 seat that I'll reupholster to look similar to this. It would be nice to get that fixed. Seat belts. I just installed a universal belt. Cost only about $20 in one of the other Sciroccos that I have. And it's nice and it fit perfectly. So I'm going to replace these. These retract poorly and I had to finagle the buckles a little bit to get this belt to work in a more modern socket. So those are things I'm going to do on the interior. Engine bay, really nothing horrible. This rain tray seal is just foam and it's kind of cheesy, so I'll see if I can do better with that. There is just the slightest impingement right here. There's missing paint, so the hood is touching that just a little, so I'll see about grinding that down a little bit. This metal is thick, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick, so if I take a millimeter or two off there, hopefully that'll be enough. The other thing I noticed when I was building the car, space was really limited, so it was a matter of millimeters in a lot of places. And this coolant hose, when I put things together, I did notice that it gets close to the fan blades. I put this zip tie on it really to monitor things. And the zip tie didn't get cut, but it's definitely getting touched. There's a little bit of wear on the zip tie, which indicates there is some contact. The blades themselves are fine. So my plan is to drain the coolant and disconnect the hose here and shorten it maybe 3/8 of an inch or so that when I connect it back, it'll pull the hose back and give a little more clearance there. But other than that, no issues under the hood. And after a weekend of showing off, the oil cap is fine. Oil level is fine, didn't go down at all. It stayed clean, so that's good. And then the coolant, also the level stayed fine and it looks healthy. So really the engine was kind of an unknown. Those were all good indications. So a little bit of a punch list of things to do. I'll start tackling those one at a time. And I'll post more videos when there's decent progress. See you soon.